As you close your eyes, the world around you fades into a soft quiet. The pull of gravity, the hum of life on Earth, all feel distant now. You drift, weightless. As the edge of our atmosphere slowly begins to recede, the blue expanse above your planet's protective cocoon fades into deep blackness, where the stars begin to twinkle softly like forgotten whispers. You are no longer confined by Earth's embrace, yet the warmth of it still lingers, as if the planet's gentle heartbeat continues to pulse in the very air that fills your lungs. Slowly, the familiar horizon of the Earth shrinks behind you, a brilliant blue marble floating in the velvet silence of space. And now, you are surrounded by the vastness, this endless sea of nothing, where time itself seems to stretch and breathe alongside you. The stars above, those ancient travelers of the night sky, each tell their story in shimmering light. Some have been burning for millions of years. Others are still too young to be seen, hidden in the depths of this celestial ocean. You wonder what stories they hold, what weather they know. We speak of weather as we know it. The winds caress, the rains embrace, the warmth of the sun. But out here, far beyond the comforts of Earth, what does weather mean? What kind of skies do these stars feel beneath their own atmosphere? You float quietly into this unknown, your breath deepening with each moment. Your thoughts carry you beyond the familiar rhythms of Earth's seasons, where clouds form and dissipate, where storms whisper through the sky. In this dark expanse, there are no clouds, no winds, no shifting skies. Just the steady gaze of distant stars, surrounded by a cosmic silence so profound that even the smallest breath seems to echo. Yet, even here, in the boundless stretch of space, there is still a sense of movement. Gravity pulls at you in ways you've never felt before. It is the silent hand of the cosmos, gently guiding you forward. The pull of distant planets, the dance of celestial bodies, everything is constantly in motion, weaving an intricate tapestry that stretches across the universe. And within this grand dance, the weather is not simply confined to clouds, and it extends across galaxies, across the very fabric of time and space. Imagine for a moment the weather of distant worlds. On Mars, the wind carries the weight of dust storms so powerful they can fill the air for days, turning the red planet's surface into a hazy dreamscape. Farther out, on Saturn, the weather takes the form of winds that whip through its icy rings, each gust a cold reminder of the planet's unyielding beauty. And on the moons of Jupiter, the weather is a fierce ballet of volcanic eruptions and ice storms, shaping their surface in ways unimaginable here on Earth. Yet, despite this cosmic grandeur, there is an underlying calm in the space between. It is here, in this silent expanse, that you realize the true nature of weather in the universe, not simply a physical occurrence, but a reflection of the energy that binds all things together. Each breeze on Earth, each gust of wind that pushes through the trees, is a small whisper of this larger cosmic dance. You drift further, letting the pull of the unknown guide you. As you do, the stars begin to shift in your perception, their light becoming softer, warmer, almost as if they are reaching toward you. The feeling is subtle, but you sense that you are not alone. There are forces here that you can't quite see, but you know they are there, invisible currents that ripple through the cosmos, guiding and shaping everything, even the very air we breathe. As you continue your gentle drift, you start to feel the rhythm of the universe. The stars and planets, the comets and moons, all move in a pattern that is both infinite and delicate, and you realize that the weather of the universe is not just about the temperature or the wind, it is about the flow, the ebb and flow of energy across the cosmos. This is a weather unlike anything we know. The quiet that surrounds you is not an emptiness, but a space filled with the possibility of new beginnings. The stillness invites you to listen to the silence, to feel the pulse of the stars beneath your skin. You are not simply floating through space, you are a part of this universe, just as much a part of it as the distant stars or the distant planets. With each breath, the rhythm of the universe becomes clearer. You are one with it now. The gentle pull of gravity, the quiet hum of the stars, the subtle shifts in the space around you. The weather here is not measured by the change in temperature or the formation of clouds, but by the energy that flows through all things, shaping and reshaping the very fabric of the cosmos. You drift further into the cosmic sea, where the stars have become a sea of stories, each one flickering with the knowledge of worlds that exist far beyond the reach of our senses. You are now entering a space where light bends and shifts, like ripples on the surface of an unseen ocean. Here, in the quiet of the void, you are surrounded by the unspoken stories of alien worlds, each one a unique tale told only in the faintest whispers of light. There are planets that orbit distant stars, their paths invisible to the naked eye, yet their stories are written in the light they emit. Every flicker, every subtle variation in their glow, holds secrets to their nature. These planets, known as exoplanets, spin in a dance around stars that may be millions of light years away. Each one is like a page in a cosmic library, and you are the silent reader, flipping through the catalogues of their existence, absorbing their mysteries. A soft pull guides you toward one such exoplanet. It orbits a star far more ancient than our Sun, its surface veiled in swirling clouds of gas. As you float closer, you realize that it is not just a planet but a world of its own, strange, unknowable, yet alive with the echoes of its own weather. You cannot see it with your eyes, but the light that reaches you is telling its story. The light curves, bending slightly as it passes through the planet's atmosphere, revealing the winds that sweep across its surface, the temperatures that fluctuate with a rhythm all their own, and the gases that swirl in the dark sky above. Telescopes, like dream catchers, have allowed us to listen to this silent dance. They reach out, not just to observe, but to understand, to capture the subtle signals sent out by these distant worlds. Through them, we have learned to listen to the whispers of light, picking apart the wavelengths to uncover secrets hidden within the very fabric of space. Each variation in light carries information about a world far beyond our own, about its seasons, its weather, its very soul. You pause, drawn to a cluster of exoplanets that seem to glow with an almost eerie intensity. The star they orbit is a faint white dwarf, its light so dim that it barely illuminates its surrounding space. And yet, in this darkness, these planets are alive with the hum of cosmic energy, like the heartbeat of a distant heart. Their orbits are tightly bound to their star, their atmospheres thick and layered with gas, hinting at the conditions that may exist within their interiors. You wonder what it would be like to stand on one of them, to breathe the air, to feel the winds that might blow with a force you've never imagined. Some planets in this distant library are more familiar, their stories less alien, their conditions closer to what we understand. There are gas giants, their swirling storms comparable to Jupiter's great red spot, though much larger, their winds howling with an intensity that would leave us breathless. These are worlds of extremes, where nothing can live as we know it, but where life, if it exists, would be very different. And then there are planets that seem eerily similar to our own, their temperatures and atmospheres just right for liquid water to flow, their conditions ripe for the possibility of life. But even here, there are differences, subtle variations in the way the clouds form, in the way the winds blow, in the way the rain falls. Each exoplanet, though so far removed from us, is telling a story, and these stories are captured not by words, but by the very light that reaches us. The light that we now understand as the storyteller of the universe. The way it bends, the way it curves, the way it shifts in intensity, each flicker tells us something about the planet from which it comes. It reveals the hidden forces at work beneath the surface, forces that are not always visible to the eye, but are present nonetheless. You glide past more planets, each one more unique than the last. Some are scorchingly hot, their surfaces boiling under the gaze of their suns. Others are frozen, their icy surfaces shimmering in the cold light of distant stars. Some are gas giants, their thick atmospheres hiding what lies beneath, while others are rocky, their surfaces scarred by ancient impacts. Each planet is a riddle, a puzzle that science is still trying to piece together, yet, in the silence of space, you feel the quiet beauty of their mysteries. These worlds, so far away, are not alien to you, they are familiar in their strangeness, their unknown nature drawing you in with a kind of cosmic pull. And then as you float deeper into the void, you sense that there are more stories to be told. There are worlds out there that we have not yet discovered, waiting to reveal their secrets. Some are hidden behind the veil of dust and gas, their light obscured from our view. Others are waiting for the moment when our telescopes can finally reach them, when we can finally hear their whispers in the dark. These are the planets that are still waiting for us to listen to, catch their stories as they reach out, faint but persistent, across the vast expanse of space. You begin to understand that the universe is not a cold, empty place. It is alive with stories, with histories that stretch back billions of years. Each exoplanet is a living, breathing entity, its own unique journey unfolding across the pages of the cosmos. And you, drifting in this silent sea, are just one part of this larger story. You float gently into a new realm, the silence of space giving way to the shrill cries of a distant world, its atmosphere alive with fury. It is a world that seems to breathe in violent gusts, a planet where the wind is an unrelenting force. Welcome to HD 189733b, a place where wind does not whisper, but howls across the surface with a power you cannot imagine. The wind here screams eastward faster than any storm on Earth, racing across the sky at a staggering 5,400 miles per hour. It is a wind that never stops, never pauses for rest, as though the planet itself is constantly in motion, its atmosphere alive with restless energy. As you drift closer, the first thing that strikes you is the color of the world. The sky, a deep cobalt blue, stretches across the horizon in sharp contrast to the chaos unfolding below. It is a hue that seems to pulse with the energy of the planet, a reflection of the violent winds that sweep through it. The air here is thick, heavy, with the weight of unseen forces. There is no gentle breeze, no soft touch of wind against the skin. Instead, there is a constant, oppressive roar, like the sound of a distant ocean crashing against jagged rocks, but amplified 1,000 times. It is the sound of a world alive with a ferocity all its own. Above this chaotic scene, clouds of molten glass swirl and twist in the high atmosphere. They form into shimmering spirals, glowing with the heat of a star that is too close, their edges reflecting the intense sunlight that bathes the planet. The molten glass shimmers and dances in the wind, carried by the fierce gusts that tear through the sky. The sight is both beautiful and terrifying, a celestial ballet of destruction and creation, as the glass clouds form and dissolve in a constant cycle, carried on the relentless wind. It is hard to imagine anything surviving in a place like this. And yet, the planet pulses with life in its own way. The forces that govern its weather are not what we know on Earth. There are no gentle showers or soft breezes here. The very air is a tempest, and the rain that falls is not water but glass. Yes, the rain is glass, shards of molten material that fall from the sky like knives, slicing through the atmosphere and crashing against the surface below. It is a rain that does not fall straight, but sideways, driven by the constant wind that howls across the planet's surface. The glass rain is not gentle, it is sharp, cutting through everything in its path. As you watch this strange alien storm unfold, you realize that the very concept of weather here is something completely foreign to anything you've known. There are no clouds in the way we understand them, no gentle rains that nourish the Earth's surface. Instead, the skies are filled with molten glass, carried by winds so fierce that they shape the very landscape below. The planet's surface is a dark, rocky expanse, its ground scorched by the heat of a nearby star, its atmosphere a swirling maelstrom of violent weather patterns. And yet, there is a strange beauty to it all. The chaos is mesmerizing, the molten glass swirling in midair, the cobalt blue sky stretching endlessly above. It is as though the planet itself is locked in a perpetual storm, a never-ending cycle of destruction and rebirth. The forces at work here are so immense, so beyond our comprehension, that it is difficult to imagine how any form of life could exist in such a place. But even here, amidst the chaos, there is a rhythm to the storm, a constant ebb and flow of energy that shapes the planet in ways we can only begin to understand. As you drift above this strange world, you realize that it is not just the wind that defines this place. The very elements that make up the planet, the glass rain, the molten clouds, are part of a larger dance, a cosmic ballet of forces that move in perfect harmony. There is no place for stillness here, no time for rest. The planet is in constant motion, its weather patterns shaped by the forces of gravity, heat, and the relentless pull of its sun. It is a world where the elements are in constant conflict, but also in constant collaboration. The wind, the glass rain, the molten clouds, they are all part of a larger whole, and as you float above it all, you feel a sense of awe and wonder at the complexity of it all. This is not a world that could exist on Earth, but in its own way, it is perfect. The chaos and the beauty coexist in a delicate balance, a reminder that the universe is full of worlds that are both alien and familiar in their own way. There is something profoundly humbling about witnessing a world like this. It is a reminder that our understanding of weather, of the forces that shape our own planet, is just a small piece of a much larger puzzle. The weather we experience on Earth, the wind, the rain, the clouds, is only one chapter in the story of the cosmos. There are worlds out there, like HD 189733b, where the rules of nature are rewritten in ways we cannot yet fully comprehend. As you float above this cobalt blue world, wrapped in chaos and beauty, you realize that the universe is not simply a place of calm and order, but a place of constant change, of infinite possibility. The winds of HD 189733b may never stop, but they are part of the story of the stars, part of the great cosmic journey that stretches across time and space. And as you continue to drift, you wonder what other worlds exist out there, waiting for us to discover their secrets. You float gently into the twilight zone of a distant world, the air thick with the hum of cosmic energy. Ahead, WAP 76b stretches before you, a world caught in the balance between extremes. Its surface is divided into two regions, one side bathed in the relentless heat of a nearby star, the other chilled by the cold expanse of space. It is a planet that lives in the space between fire and frost, where the temperature swings so dramatically that it shapes the very air around it, creating conditions unlike anything you have known. This is no ordinary world. The twilight zone, the narrow band between the scorching heat of day and the freezing cold of night, is where the real magic happens. Here the atmosphere brews with iron, condensing from the heat of the star on one side and the cold of space on the other. As the planet spins, the metal begins to cool, forming tiny shimmering flakes of iron that drift through the air like snowflakes. But these are no ordinary snowflakes. They are molten metal, hardened by the extremes of temperature, falling from the sky like an alien rain of fire and frost. You glide through the furnace sky, your senses filled with the contrast of temperatures that could melt you in an instant, or freeze you in place. The heat of the planet's sun burns fiercely on one side, while the coolness of space presses in from the other. Between these two forces, the air is thick with the smell of metal, the scent of something both ancient and raw. The sky is alive with a surreal, unearthly beauty. Iron snowflakes shimmer in the dim twilight, drifting lazily on the slow winds that blow across the planet's surface. You marvel at the sight of the iron snowflakes, watching as they spin and twirl through the air, catching the light in their molten edges. They fall slowly at first, like embers carried on the wind, but soon they gather speed, becoming streaks of metal in the twilight sky. They form tiny rivers of molten iron as they collide, merging and breaking apart in an endless dance of fire and frost. This is the weather of WAP 76b, a planet where the very air is a battleground between extremes, and the elements themselves are forged from the heart of the planet's relentless forces. Beneath the sky, the surface of the planet is a fractured landscape of jagged rocks and deep valleys, scorched by the heat of the star on one side, and frozen by the cold of space on the other. The transition between these two realms is marked by a dramatic line, where the fire of the sun meets the cool emptiness of space. The iron rain falls between these two realms, forming strange metallic dunes and shimmering lakes of liquid metal in the twilight zone. The planet breathes between these forces, its atmosphere a delicate balance of heat and cold, fire and frost. There is something almost poetic about the way this world exists, caught in the tension between two extremes. The heat on one side of the planet is so intense that it can vaporize metals, turning them into gases that are carried across the surface by the winds. On the cooler side, the metal begins to condense, falling in delicate metal flakes that drift like snow, only to be reabsorbed into the atmosphere as the winds blow them back toward the fiery side. It is a cycle of creation and destruction, of heat and cold, a continuous dance of opposites that shapes the very landscape of WAPS 76b. You glide through this strange metallic landscape, feeling the pull of the planet's forces tugging at you. The sky above is filled with the shimmering dance of iron snowflakes, their molten edges casting a soft glow against the darkening sky. The air around you is thick with the scent of metal, a reminder that this is a world unlike any other. It is a place where the elements are not simply a backdrop for life, but an active force that shapes everything from the weather to the very ground beneath your feet. As you float further into the twilight zone, you realize that the weather here is not just about temperature. It is about the constant battle between forces, the eternal conflict between fire and frost. The iron snowflakes that fall from the sky are not just a strange phenomenon, they are a physical manifestation of this conflict, the product of a planet caught between two extremes. This is a world where the very air is alive with the tension of creation, where the atmosphere is thick with the energy of the cosmos. In a sense, you are witnessing a battle that has been fought on countless planets throughout the universe. The forces of heat and cold, fire and frost are universal, shaping the very nature of the worlds they touch. But here on WAPS 76b, this battle is more intense, more vivid than anywhere else. The planet breathes in the space between these forces, caught in the push and pull of extremes. The iron rain falls like a delicate molten snow, a reminder that the universe is full of worlds caught in the tension of opposing forces. As you drift through this furnace sky, surrounded by the shimmering dance of iron snowflakes, you feel a sense of awe at the sheer power of nature. It is not just the heat or the cold that defines WAPS 76b, it is the way these forces collide, creating something entirely new and alien. The planet is alive with the energy of the cosmos, its weather a reflection of the violent beauty of the universe itself. You glide deeper into the vast reaches of the outer solar system, where the ice giants, the distant relatives of Neptune and Uranus, await. These planets are cold beyond imagination, their atmospheres thick with methane and ammonia, their interiors pressed under a weight so immense that the laws of physics themselves seem to bend and transform. The further you travel, the more alien the world becomes, and soon you find yourself caught in the gravitational pull of one such planet, a frozen giant with a secret hidden deep within its icy heart. On these Neptune-like worlds, something extraordinary happens beneath the thick, frosty clouds. Carbon, the very building block of life, sinks into the depths of the planet's interior, pressed under crushing pressure. The forces here are unimaginable pressures so intense that they cause carbon atoms to rearrange and crystallize into diamonds. As you drift through the atmosphere, you can almost feel the energy that surrounds you, the invisible pull of physics at play. Below, in the planet's depths, entire oceans of carbon may exist, their contents forever bound by the immense gravity that holds them in place. The air around you begins to grow charged, a faint hum that tells you a storm is coming. Flashes of lightning dance through the clouds, igniting the atmosphere in sudden brilliant bursts of light. The lightning is no ordinary lightning, it is fueled by the strange chemistry of the planet's icy clouds, where the elements themselves are supercharged by the immense pressure and temperature deep within. Each flash of light is a sign that something incredible is about to unfold, a cosmic phenomenon that is as beautiful as it is strange. Then, as if on cue, it begins. Diamonds, tiny and perfect, begin to fall from the sky. They are the product of the planet's deep, unimaginable pressures formed millions of miles below the surface, and now they rain down like a sparkling treasure, scattered across the cold, dark clouds. You watch in awe as they shimmer and dance through the atmosphere, each one a miniature star, glowing as they catch the light of distant suns. The storm is alive with their fall, each diamond a perfect reflection of the strange forces that shape this world. The diamonds fall slowly at first, tumbling gently through the air, but soon they begin to gather speed. The storm grows more intense, the lightning flashing brighter with each passing moment, igniting the atmosphere and sending waves of energy rippling through the clouds. The diamonds tumble and spin, their sharp edges catching the light in sudden dazzling bursts. It is as if the sky itself has become a treasure chest, one that is being slowly opened by the forces of the planet, revealing its glittering contents in a slow, controlled release. You feel weightless, suspended in the midst of this glowing dark, where the storm rages and the diamonds fall like rain. There is a strange beauty in the chaos, a reminder that even in the harshest environments, even in the most extreme conditions, the universe can create something breathtaking. The diamonds, each one a tiny fragment of the planet's immense pressure, fall gracefully through the storm, their brilliance a stark contrast to the cold, dark expanse of space that surrounds you. You can almost hear the hum of the storm, the crackling energy of the lightning as it courses through the sky, igniting the air around you with each strike. The diamonds, now falling in a steady stream, are not just beautiful, they are a reminder of the strange wealth of physics at play. What we call treasure, what we value, is not simply a product of human desire. In the universe, treasure exists in places we cannot imagine, hidden deep within the hearts of distant planets, forged by the most extreme forces imaginable. Here in the heart of an ice giant, diamonds are not rare, precious gems, they are simply the product of pressure and time, created by forces so immense that they stretch the boundaries of our understanding. As you drift through this cosmic treasure storm, you realize that you are witnessing something rare, not just a storm of diamonds, but a storm of creation. The planet itself is a forge, a place where the most basic elements are shaped and transformed into something entirely new. The diamonds that fall from the sky are not simply falling from above, they are the result of a cosmic dance, a journey that began billions of years ago when the planet itself was still forming. They are the echoes of that ancient process, the tangible result of the immense forces that continue to shape this world. You float, weightless, as the diamonds continue to fall around you, each one a miniature masterpiece, a product of time and pressure, of the strange wealth of the universe at play. The storm rages on, lightning flashing and thunder rumbling through the thick clouds. But even in the midst of this cosmic chaos, there is a sense of peace, a stillness that exists within the storm itself. You are a part of this dance, suspended in time and space, caught in the rhythm of the storm. The diamonds fall slowly, gently, like stars falling from the sky. They are both beautiful and dangerous, their sharp edges catching the light in sudden bursts, a reminder that the universe is not just a place of quiet contemplation, but a place of creation and destruction, of pressure and release, of forces that shape everything they touch. You float into the quiet embrace of Titan, Saturn's largest moon, where the very air is alive with mystery. Here in this distant world, the sky is not the blue you are familiar with, but a shimmering golden-brown haze. The air is thick with methane, a gas so dense that it feels almost tangible, wrapping around you like a cool, unfamiliar blanket. It is a strange world, where the very atmosphere hums with a sense of something both ancient and unknown. Above you, the sky is a canvas of shifting orange and brown, an endless sea of mist that sways with the rhythm of the winds, moving in slow, almost deliberate waves. The air here is thick, almost liquid in its density, and each breath feels like stepping into a dream. The clouds above seem like a blanket, thick and heavy, yet they hold no threat. There is no storm to fear here. The world seems to exist in a state of stillness, as if time itself has slowed beneath the weight of Titan's thick atmosphere. The sunlight on Titan is soft and muted, its warmth distant and faint. But when the sun dips lower, It begins to paint the skies with hues of rust and orange, filling the horizon with a kind of quiet beauty. The sunsets here are unlike any you've seen, dripping in deep reds and rusty browns as the fading light dances across the thick atmosphere. It is a sunset that seems to hold the weight of centuries, a moment frozen in time, where the world itself seems to pause and watch in reverence. As the light fades, the air grows cooler, the thick mists of methane swirling around you in gentle, slow-moving clouds. The rain here is nothing like the rain on Earth. It is cold, thick, and foreign, but there is a rhythm to it, a slow, almost hypnotic pace. It falls in soft droplets, each one sinking into the hazy atmosphere, before gently dissipating, leaving the ground below slick and dark with the weight of the alien moisture. The rain here feels ancient, as if it has been falling for eons, quietly shaping the landscape, leaving behind rivers of liquid methane that wind their way through the barren plains of this strange moon. You wander beneath the misty skies, your feet barely making a sound on the ground beneath you. There is no rush here, no urgency to move forward. Time itself seems to stretch, to slow in this thick, slow-moving atmosphere. The world around you is a dreamlike version of Earth, a place where everything moves with the rhythm of the rain, where the weight of the air makes each step feel as if you are walking through the pages of a story, rather than the physical world. The stillness of this place invites you to pause and reflect. The landscape stretches out before you, vast and empty, save for the distant shadows of mountains and the soft glow of the moon's methane seas. There is a quiet beauty here, a serene, almost meditative atmosphere that invites wonder. The silence is profound, broken only by the gentle patter of methane rain against the ground, each drop falling in a delicate rhythm that seems to echo through the silence. The sky above is a vast ocean of swirling mists, the colors shifting and changing as the sun dips lower and lower on the horizon. The sunsets here are not just a visual phenomenon, but a sensory experience. The air seems to grow thicker as the day ends, the clouds deepening in color, turning the entire sky into a glowing painting of rust and orange. You watch as the light fades, the sky transitioning into a quiet twilight that seems to stretch on forever. There is no night on Titan as we know it. The sun does not fully disappear, it simply fades, leaving the world in a perpetual dreamlike dusk. Here there is no sense of time passing in the way you experience it on Earth. The slow fall of the rain, the steady rhythm of the mists, and the eternal sunsets all work together to create a feeling of timelessness. You are not rushing anywhere, you are simply existing in the stillness of Titan's haze, letting the world move around you in its own slow, quiet rhythm. There is no need to hurry. The stillness of the world invites you to slow down, to listen to the quiet, and to let the beauty of this alien landscape wash over you. You are caught in the gentle rhythm of Titan's atmosphere, where everything feels suspended in time. The thick methane clouds swirl slowly above you, the rain falls with a soft persistence, and the sky glows with the faded light of a distant sun. It is a place where the usual hustle and bustle of life fade into the background, leaving only the quiet, the soft patter of rain, and the surreal beauty of a world so different from your own. In this moment, there is no need for words, no need for thoughts. You are simply a part of Titan, moving with the rhythm of the mists, drifting beneath the glowing skies. The world is both familiar and alien, a place where time itself seems to pause, inviting you to stop and listen to the silence. The stillness here is not empty, it is full of quiet wonder, of cosmic beauty, of the strange, slow-moving dance of a moon that has existed for billions of years, quietly waiting for you to notice. You find yourself drawn into the scorching embrace of Kepler 10b, a world so close to its star that it is consumed by fire. There is no gentle twilight here, no soft moonlight or cool winds. This is a planet where heat rules with absolute authority, a place where the very ground beneath your feet boils with the fury of an unforgiving star. The planet's surface is a furnace, and its atmosphere, thick and oppressive, radiates a constant heat. as though the air itself is burning. As you hover above Kepler 10b, you feel the intense warmth of the planet's surface radiating up towards you, an invisible force that tugs at you, urging you closer. The ground below is a sea of molten lava, the very earth itself a swirling ocean of fire. It stretches out as far as the eye can see, shimmering with the heat that rises from its surface. There is no land to walk on, no safe place to rest, only the boiling liquid rock that churns and bubbles beneath you, the very embodiment of the planet's violent, fiery nature. The atmosphere here is thick with gas, a mix of carbon dioxide and other volatile compounds that seem to pulse with the energy of the sun. There are no clouds to obscure the view. The sky above is a deep, fiery orange, the color of a world trapped in the relentless gaze of a star that is too close, too powerful. The light from the star bathes the planet in an unyielding glow, casting everything in harsh, unforgiving light. The air itself feels alive, charged with the energy of the sun, and yet it is not oppressive. It is simply a part of this world, as much a part of Kepler 10b as the lava oceans that stretch below. You hover inches above the lava ocean, your senses alive with the sheer intensity of the heat. There is no sound, no crackling or roaring from the molten rock, just the soft hum of heat rising up from below, as though the planet itself is singing a song that only the most sensitive of listeners can hear. It is a song of fire, of extremes, of a world shaped by the fierce hand of its star. The heat is not a loud force, it does not scream or shout. It is silent, yet it resonates deeply, a constant presence that hums through the very fabric of the planet. In the midst of this violent landscape, you realize that there is a strange beauty to it all. The lava oceans below are not chaotic. They move with a rhythm, their undulating waves of molten rock following an unseen pattern. The heat that rises from the surface is not just a physical sensation, it is an emotional one, stirring something deep within you. Even here in the heart of fire, there is a quiet order to the chaos, a pattern that nature has composed despite the extreme conditions. The air above you shimmers with heat, distorting the view of the planet's surface in a way that feels almost surreal. It is as though you are caught in a dream, a world where the normal rules of physics are bent by the planet's intense forces. The lava dances below, its surface shimmering with orange and red hues, as if the planet itself is alive, pulsing with energy and life. The heat is not just a force of destruction, it is a creative force, shaping the landscape, forming new continents of fire and rock. And yet, despite the overwhelming heat, the planet endures. Kepler 10b does not break beneath the weight of its star's fury. It stands resilient, a testament to the power of nature's extremes. In a world where the very ground boils and the atmosphere burns, the planet continues to move through space, carrying its fiery heart with it, as it orbits its sun with a steady, unyielding rhythm. There is a quiet strength here, a beauty born from the planet's ability to survive and endure, despite the overwhelming forces that surround it. As you float above the lava ocean, you can almost feel the planet's pulse beneath you. The lava moves in slow, rhythmic waves, the heat rising in gentle bursts, as though the planet itself is breathing, exhaling fire with each passing moment. There is no sense of panic here, no rush, only a steady, unwavering presence. A planet that has learned to exist in the face of extremes. It is a place where fire is not a destructive force, but a creative one, shaping the landscape, creating new forms of beauty from the raw energy of the universe. The silence of Kepler 10b is profound. It is not the silence of a dead world, but the silence of a planet alive with energy. The heat sings its own song, a quiet hum that fills the air, resonating through the very core of the planet. Even in the face of such extremes, there is harmony. The planet's lava oceans move with a slow, deliberate grace, their surfaces shimmering with the light of the sun. The heat, though intense, is not overwhelming. It is simply a part of the planet's existence, a force that moves through it like a symphony of fire, playing a song that only the planet itself can fully hear. As you hover above the ocean of lava, you begin to understand the planet's resilience. Despite the relentless heat, despite the extreme conditions, Kepler 10b continues to exist. It does not break, does not collapse under the weight of its own creation. Instead, it endures. It is a place of fire, of extremes, where nature has composed a symphony from the forces of the universe, and the planet moves to the beat of that music, unwavering and eternal. You drift gently into the heart of a world unlike any other. Here, the stars are distant, their light distant but unwavering. You have arrived on a tidally locked planetary world, where one side is eternally bathed in sunlight, while the other is lost in the perpetual shadow of night. There is no sunrise, no sunset, only the unyielding boundary where day meets night, a sharp line drawn across the surface of the planet. This place is frozen in time, caught forever between extremes, where nothing changes. As you approach the planet, you can feel the stillness in the air, thick and unbroken. There are no winds to stir the atmosphere, no clouds to move across the sky. The planet is a silent witness to the passage of time, its surface unchanged by the forces that shape other worlds. One side is blisteringly hot, forever scorched by the endless gaze of its star, while the other is a frozen expanse, its dark surface cold and lifeless, untouched by the warmth of daylight. Yet, there is no shifting, no movement. The two halves of the planet exist in perfect stasis, held in place by the gravitational pull of the star and the unchanging dance of the universe. You hover at the edge of this silent divide, where light and dark meet in a perfect balance. This is the twilight zone of the planet, the border where the eternal day kisses the never-ending night. The air here is thick with the weight of stillness, the atmosphere so dense that even the slightest movement feels like an echo in time. There is no wind to carry sound, no rain to wash away the dust. The land below you stretches out in perfect silence, the sharp line of light cutting through the landscape, dividing the warmth of the day from the cold of the night. As you walk along this border, you can feel the tension between the two worlds, the heat of the sun on one side, the bitter chill of the dark on the other. The ground beneath your feet is both scorched and frozen, the texture of the planet shifting from one extreme to the other. The light on the horizon glows softly, a distant star casting its steady glow across the land, but there is no warmth. The heat of the day does not reach here, and the cold of the night does not penetrate. You stand at the threshold of two worlds, each locked in its own state of being, unable to change, unable to move. This is a world without weather. No winds blow to shape the land, no rain falls to nourish the surface. The air is still, heavy with silence, as though the planet itself has forgotten the passage of time. There is no change here, only the quiet repetition of day and night, the eternal dance of light and dark. The surface of the planet remains frozen, untouched by the forces that shape other worlds. There are no clouds to drift across the sky, no storms to disrupt the stillness. It is a place where time does not seem to exist, where nothing moves, nothing grows, nothing breathes, and yet, in this perfect stasis, there is a quiet story being told. The stillness is not empty. It is filled with the weight of eternity, the quiet hum of a world that has existed for eons in this same state. Even in the absence of movement, there is something profound about the silence that fills the air. It is a silence that carries the weight of countless years, a reminder that even in the absence of weather, even in the stillness of the universe, there is meaning. This world has been caught in its celestial embrace, held in place by the forces of gravity and time, its surface unchanged by the passage of seasons, by the pulse of distant stars. There is something oddly comforting about the silence here. It is a quiet that wraps around you, a silence so deep that it feels as though the universe itself is holding its breath. There are no sounds of wind or rain, no rustling of leaves or cracking of thunder, only the soft hum of the planet's existence, echoing through the stillness. You realize that in the absence of weather, in the absence of change, there is a purity to this silence, a sense of timelessness that stretches out before you without end. As you stand at the border between light and dark, you begin to feel the weight of this stillness pressing in around you. The quiet is not unsettling, it is grounding, a reminder that not all things are in motion, not all things are in a constant state of flux. There are moments in the universe where nothing happens, where time stretches out in a perfect pause, and in these moments there is beauty. The land stretches out before you, frozen in its perfect symmetry, its stillness, a testament to the quiet rhythms of the cosmos. Here in the twilight zone of this tidally locked world, you begin to understand the quiet beauty of stasis. It is a beauty born not of movement, but of permanence, of a world caught between two extremes, where nothing changes but everything endures. The land here does not grow, it does not die, it simply exists, held in place by the forces of nature, unshaken by the passage of time. In this moment, you feel a profound sense of peace. There is no urgency, no need to rush, no need to change. You are simply here, in the quiet space between light and dark, listening to the story of a world that knows no weather, no storms, no winds, only the quiet song of stasis. In the vast reaches of space, beyond the world you know, there exists a language not one of words or sounds, but of light. The universe, with all its stars, planets, and swirling cosmic forces, speaks in wavelengths and frequencies, in spectra that tell stories hidden in the fabric of space. And as you drift deeper into the cosmos, you become aware of this silent song, this cosmic whisper that echoes through the light itself. Scientists, the listeners of this universal song, have learned to decode its language. With instruments that can peer into the depths of space, they capture the light from distant stars and planets, transforming it into something more, a story of elements, of movement, of forces at play. They read the light as one might read a poem, interpreting the faintest shifts and changes in its color and intensity. Light, it turns out, is not just illumination, it is information, a message waiting to be understood. The spectra of light that come from far-off worlds are like lullabies, soft and faint, but full of meaning. Each curve, each subtle shift in wavelength, reveals the composition of a planet's atmosphere, the speed of its winds, and the strength of its storms. Through the lens of a spectrometer, scientists can read the very breath of the universe, the winds of distant worlds, the clouds that swirl and gather, the heat that radiates from the surface of far-off planets. In the wavelengths of light, there is an entire narrative, one of weather, of cycles, of storms and stillness. You float among these silent messages, listening, interpreting, imagining. You have learned that the winds of distant planets can be read from the way the stars waver as their light passes through shifting atmospheres. The more a planet wobbles in its orbit, the more we know of its winds, its movement, the force of its storms. Each wobble is a rhythm, a pulse that carries with it the music of the planet's atmosphere. Even the clouds, which seem so intangible, can be read by the curves in the light that reaches us. The way the light bends, the way it changes as it passes through thickening or thinning clouds, tells us their composition and their movement. As you listen to the universe, you begin to feel connected to it, to the rhythms that govern its weather, its storms. The light itself becomes a bridge between you and the unknown, a means by which you can begin to understand worlds far beyond your reach. The murmur of these alien storms, whether they are gentle winds on a distant moon or violent hurricanes on a far-off gas giant, becomes a part of you, as you interpret the quiet hum of the cosmos. In this stillness, as you float among the stars, you realize that the universe speaks to those who are willing to listen. It speaks not in loud voices or bright flashes, but in quiet, constant whispers, carried on the light that travels across the void. You hear the stories of planets with no weather, of worlds locked in eternal storms, of oceans of gas and waves of molten rock. Each world, each planet, has its own song, its own melody woven into the very fabric of light. And if you are still enough, quiet enough, you can hear it. There is beauty in this silent conversation, this exchange of information between the universe and those who listen. The light from distant stars may be ancient, but its message is clear. It is a message of existence, of change, of weather that has shaped planets and atmospheres for billions of years. The universe murmurs, and in the stillness, you can hear the rhythms of alien storms, of winds and clouds that swirl far beyond your reach. The light you see from these distant worlds is not just a reflection of their physical state, it is a reflection of their stories. You learn that storms on distant planets are not just chaotic bursts of energy, they are natural compositions, formed by the delicate dance of gases, gravity, and time. Even on worlds where violent winds tear through the atmosphere, there is an underlying harmony, a rhythm that can be traced in the movement of the clouds and the wobbles of the planets. As you drift among the stars, you realize that you too are part of this cosmic song. The light that reaches you is not just from stars and planets, but from the very heart of the universe. It tells a story of creation, of chaos, of beauty in every atom and every wave. The storms of far-off worlds are not alien to you. They are simply another chapter in the grand narrative of existence, and you are one of the listeners, one of the interpreters. You float in the silence, listening as the universe speaks through its light, its winds, its storms. It is a language that requires no translation, no words. It is a song of nature, pure and unbroken, and all you need to do is listen. As you do, you begin to feel the vastness of the cosmos, not as a place of distance and separation, but as a place of connection, a place where the whispers of far-off worlds are just as close as the beating of your own heart. And in the quiet, you begin to understand the universe does not need to shout to be heard, it only needs to be listened to be felt, to be understood. In the silence between the stars, in the flicker of light that reaches you, there is an entire conversation unfolding, a story that has been told since the beginning of time. As sleep begins to settle gently upon you, you realize that the journeys you've taken through distant storms across alien skies are no longer just memories. They are part of you now, woven into the very fabric of your thoughts. You carry these strange worlds within you, each planet, each storm, a small seed planted in the vast garden of your imagination. The skies you've drifted through, the winds you've listened to are no longer distant and foreign. They have become a part of you, a soft whispering presence that lingers as you drift closer to sleep. You remember the molten glass rain falling from the sky of HD 189733b, each droplet a shard of heat and fire. You remember how they fell like meteors slicing through the air in a fiery ballet of destruction and creation. The heat was overwhelming, the storm a force of nature so wild it felt as though the planet itself was alive, breathing with fury. But now, that world is quiet in your mind, and the burning rain is transformed, softened by the gentle rhythm of sleep. The glass droplets have become delicate, their fiery edges now smooth and cool, the storm a distant echo in the realm of dreams. You carry with you the image of Titan's hazy skies, where methane mist swirled gently and sunsets dripped in hues of rust. The soft rhythmic rain, thick and cold, but somehow comforting, is now a lullaby in your mind, its rhythm like the soft murmur of the wind outside your window. The alien world that once felt so vast and strange is now wrapped in the warmth of imagination, a place where the quiet stillness of the atmosphere feels like a dream you want to hold on to forever. As you breathe in the quiet, the mist of Titan settles around you like a blanket, cool and soothing, inviting you to rest in its serenity. And then there are the winds of Kepler 10b, the symphony of heat and fire, where the lava ocean stretched out beneath you and the planet sang in silence. You remember how the lava swirled in rhythmic waves, the heat that radiated from the surface, the light that danced upon the molten rock. Now as sleep pulls you deeper, those winds have become gentle whispers, their intensity softened by the embrace of dreams. The planet's fire is now a warm, glowing ember, its fury transformed into the quiet hum of the universe, a melody that flows like a lullaby. The lava ocean no longer roars, but hums softly, inviting you to float on its warm, gentle waves. You carry with you the image of the ice giants, where diamonds fell from the sky like treasure, forged in the heart of their planets. You remember how the lightning flashed and ignited the storm, how the diamonds tumbled through the atmosphere, their brilliance like stars falling to the earth. In the realm of dreams, these diamonds have become soft, sparkling snowflakes, each one a glimmer of wonder, a reminder of the beauty born from extremes. The storm is no longer a violent clash of forces, but a delicate dance of light and shadow, a dream woven from the threads of cosmic creation. Even the winds of HD 189733b, howling and relentless, are now a soft breeze in your mind, carrying with it the echoes of alien worlds. The methane, the iron, the strange rain of distant storms all have transformed in the gentle landscape of your dreams. These worlds, once so fierce, now feel like old friends, their stories softened by awe and wonder, their fury turned into whispers that lull you closer to rest. As sleep's embrace deepens, you are no longer simply a traveler of distant skies. You are a part of the storms you've witnessed, the winds you've heard, the rain you've felt. You are both observer and participant in this grand cosmic dance, and as you drift off, the rain of wonder begins to fall around you, gentle, soft and endless. The world outside your mind fades away, and in its place the dreams of alien skies take over, guiding you through the quiet and the unknown. You feel the weight of your travels, not as a burden but as a quiet presence, a soothing reminder that you are part of something far greater than yourself. The storms of distant worlds no longer feel strange, but familiar, like an old song sung softly in the night. You are wrapped in the soft hum of the universe, a traveler of imagined storms, softened by awe, guided by the gentle rain of wonder that now falls with each breath you take. In the stillness, you realize that even in sleep you are still traveling, still witnessing the beauty of these worlds, still part of their quiet song. The universe is always speaking, always singing, and as you let yourself be carried away on the winds of your dreams, you listen with open ears, your heart full of wonder, ready to drift into the embrace of the unknown.